Welcome back, everybody. Got a little different video today. I'm sitting at our local park. Just got here after lunch. And the reason I am here is that right there. Those two piles of dirt. And you might say, well, okay, fine, piles of dirt. It's a park. Yeah, it's a normal park. Well, I've lived here all my life in this area. And those of us in the know understand that this park is roughly half of a major Civil War battlefield. So they pulled this dirt out of probably this hole right here and the brand new parking area that I'm currently parked in. So that dirt could be nothing, or it might actually have a few things in it. And I have searched this park before, especially back over there where the soccer fields are now. And I found what was a center portion of a sword. So, of course, it wasn't, the handle and the pommel and everything. And it wasn't the tip. It was the center section. And I knew what it was. And, people who look for this kind of stuff would know what it was. But, it didn't have any markings. There wasn't much left of it. It was cool, but it's like, nah, great. And so, okay, I can film now. I don't like to film little kids, but they left. So this is the brand new playground. And we had an older playground. I searched around the older playground one time. And so I found, the typical pop tabs and everything. So I didn't search around the playground much anymore. And a couple of years ago, there was a young couple with their child in a stroller, and they were pushing down, I think it was right over here. They were pushing the stroller down through there, and we'd had about 3 days straight of good hard rain, and the dirt had washed away down there from the runoff. And as they were walking through, they saw, curiously, what looked like a human bone sticking up out of the dirt where the water had washed away a good few inches of dirt. And so, getting curious, they started digging around, and it got, the bone was longer and longer under the dirt. And then, unbelievably, they saw a bullet sticking out of the bone. So, hush, hush, they went home, grabbed a metal detector, and started looking, and they found a pile of bullets, that arm bone with the bullet still in it. And so all that is now up at the Civil War Museum, just a few blocks away from here. And so I kicked myself because I have searched this park, and I searched around the playground, and I missed that spot. And they just happened to see it walking by. So, there may be nothing in this pile, but if I don't look, I'll always wonder. So, and it's starting to sprinkle, so I'm going to hurry up and get my equipment out and start looking. Okay, so what I'm using is an old Garrett Freedom 3. It's a good machine. It's just old. It doesn't really matter what you use. The point is, get out and use something. So I'm going to start scanning. If I find anything good, I'll show you. Well, guys, I've been out here for a while. I went through the pile that looks more like construction debris, and I found probably enough screws to build something with. Cutouts. There was one interesting piece of copper that looked really old. It's just a real small piece of sheet. But it could be a piece of shrapnel. So I started working the dirt pile, which is looks like the little kids have already worked a ton. And I got a pretty good hit down here. Thought I had something that might be interesting, but as I dig around it, it appears to be a 55-gallon barrel buried down in there. There was probably a faucet right here or a shutoff at one time, so that's a bust. I'm gonna keep looking around this pile. If I find anything interesting, I'll get back with you. Okay, so this pretty much was the finds for today. Like I said, enough screws to build something. Rusted bolts, nails, metal, old school pop tabs, a little bit newer, new ones. There was a big steel plate. It's laying over there somewhere. And interestingly, the one thing that I would have liked to have took a little better look at, the little sheet of copper that looked all blown apart. Yeah, I can't find it. So apparently somebody else will find it. Anyway, I guess it's time to call it a day. It's getting a little colder and it's supposed to rain soon. So time to head home and find something else to do. Okay, while I let the car warm up just a little bit, or maybe I should say, while I let my hands warm up just a little bit before I leave, just thought I'd point out something that maybe might save some of you a lot of grief. Okay, metal detecting. Depending on where you're at, it's allowed. No restrictions, no nothing. Sometimes it's allowed if you get a permit in a public park. Sometimes you're on private property, so of course you got to get the landowner's permission. And sometimes it is strictly prohibited, and I do mean strictly. And I'm gonna tell you, like I'm gonna show you an example right here. So this here, on this side of the railroad cars, is City Park. And it runs from all the way over there by that little red brick building, all the way around, all the way up there to where you see that blue house up there. It runs up to that street. This is all City Park, no problem. Okay, there is a road just the other side of the soccer goals. Obviously that one's in a little bit, but it's right up there. Okay, so this side of the railroad tracks, that side of the road, City Park. That side of the railroad tracks, that side of the road, private property. As well as the other side of the railroad tracks, private property. Directly across the tracks, the instant you get out of the railroad right-of-way, that is state park. I'm sitting right here, literally right over there, on the other side of that pole, on the other side of the tracks, is the driveway to go down into the state park. And there's a real nice parking area down there and an informational display and all that. I can't venture over there right now because I have a metal detector in the car. If I went over there and literally just parked the car and turned around and walked back out, you know, say my car is acting up, it's overheating, whatever, and I park it over there, and the right person sees the metal detector in the car, here's what happens in a state park where it's banned. They seize your car. They take your metal detector. They come to your house and they seize anything that they want to that looks like it could have been an artifact dug with a metal detector. Then you face up to $10,000 fine and up to a year in jail. So I would like to drive right over there and show you guys what this looks like, but I can't do it today. I'd have to do it some other time when I don't have any kind of metal detectors in my vehicle. And let me tell you, that's a cool place over there. And there actually is a cannonball. I know exactly where it's at. It's wedged under a rock about a foot deep. And I found it years ago before it was a state park. And it was 20 degrees. It was dark. I was using flashlights. My fingers were numb to the bone. And there's a spring over there. And at that time it was dammed up, so the water level was higher and the water kept filling the hole. So I covered the hole over with a nice flat rock so I would know where to go and be able to find it again. And, you know, life happens, things got busy, and then it turned into the state park. And so I could probably still go find it, but you can't dig over there. You know, how did you know there was a or how did you know there was a cannonball over there without a metal detector? You know, it's not worth the risk for a cannonball that might be worth $200. And, you know, I wouldn't sell it anyway. I would just like to find one in place as it was fired, you know. But anyway, so obviously you can see it's raining. It's time to get out of here. Was going to go out to the farm and run the loader, moving some brush piles, but I don't think that's going to happen either. So I don't know. We'll see what happens the rest of the day. If I don't get back to you, thanks for watching, guys.